You might have seen the headlines or heard the whispers. Brightspeed, the new kid on the block in the internet service world, taking over massive territories from big names like Lumen and CenturyLink. And with any major corporate shakeup, the rumors start to fly. One of the most shocking ones? That Brightspeed's leadership, specifically its CEO, should be facing charges for fraud. So, why isn't the CEO of Brightspeed in prison? Today, we're going to unpack this question, separate the facts from the fiction, and get to the bottom of what's really going on. First, let's set the stage. Brightspeed was born out of a massive 20-state deal where it acquired the internet infrastructure and customer base from Lumen, which many of you know better as CenturyLink. We're talking about a multi-billion-dollar transaction that instantly made Brightspeed one of the largest internet providers in the country. The company's stated mission is ambitious: to bring faster, more reliable fiber internet to millions of homes and businesses, many of which have been stuck with slow, outdated DSL for years. The CEO at the helm of this massive undertaking is Bob Mudge, a veteran of the telecom industry with a long history at Verizon. So, where do the fraud accusations come from? Well, they're not coming from courtrooms or law enforcement. Instead, they stem from a deep well of customer frustration. Think about it. Millions of customers suddenly had a new company managing their internet. The transition was bound to have hiccups. Many former CenturyLink customers were already unhappy with their service slow speeds. Frequent outages and lackluster customer support were common complaints. When Brightspeed took over, many hoped for an immediate, miraculous improvement. But large-scale infrastructure transitions are incredibly complex. They involve merging billing systems, retraining support staff, and managing a physical network that in many areas was old and neglected. In the initial months, many customers experienced problems, billing errors, service interruptions, and long wait times for customer support. From the customer's perspective, they were sold a promise of a brighter future, but what they got felt like the same old problems, maybe even worse. This is where the feeling of being defrauded comes from. It's a feeling of betrayal, the gap between the marketing promises and the reality of the service. People felt like they were promised a high-speed fiber future, but were still stuck with dial-up era problems. While there's a legal distinction between poor service and criminal fraud, for a customer who feels lied to and ripped off, that distinction means very little. In the legal world, fraud isn't just about being disappointed. Criminal fraud has a very specific definition. It involves intentional deception for financial or personal gain. To prove fraud in a case like this, prosecutors would need to show that Brightspeed's CEO and the company deliberately lied about their intentions. They would need evidence that Brightspeed, from the very beginning, had no plan to upgrade the network, no intention of improving service, and that their marketing was all a calculated lie designed to mislead investors and customers for profit. So, let's look at the evidence. Is Brightspeed actually doing anything? The answer is a resounding yes. The company has publicly committed billions of dollars, we're talking over $2 billion specifically for building out a new fiber optic network. This isn't just talk. If you look at local news reports and press releases in the states they serve, you'll see a constant stream of announcements about new fiber construction projects. Towns and counties that have been waiting for high-speed internet for a decade are finally seeing construction crews laying fiber optic cable. However, for many customers, especially in rural parts of states like Arkansas, these promises of investment feel empty. Widespread reports claim there are no visible upgrades, leading to the belief that investments are only focused on select urban areas like Little Rock, while other regions are ignored. Building a fiber network is an incredibly expensive and time-consuming process. It doesn't happen overnight. Furthermore, Bob Mudge and his leadership team came from Verizon, where they were instrumental in the successful rollout of Fios, one of the country's most well-known fiber networks. Their track record suggests they have the experience and know-how to execute a project of this scale. It would be a very strange and, frankly, illogical business strategy to spend billions acquiring assets, only to deliberately run them into the ground. The business model for Brightspeed is predicated on successful upgrades. Their entire financial future depends on converting old DSL customers to new, more profitable fiber plans and attracting new customers with a superior product. Deliberately failing would be corporate suicide. So, if there's no legal case for fraud, why does the question persist? It's because the conversation isn't really happening in a legal context. It's happening in the court of public opinion. When you're a customer and your internet is down for the third time in a month and you can't get a human on the phone, the legal definition of fraud doesn't matter much. You feel cheated. The promise was broken. Social media platforms, forums like Reddit, and local community groups become echo chambers for this frustration. A post about a bad experience gets hundreds of comments from others sharing similar stories. This creates a powerful narrative that the company is fundamentally deceptive, even if it doesn't meet the high bar of a criminal offense. It's also important to remember the history of the infrastructure Brightspeed inherited. For years, as CenturyLink, the company was accused of neglecting its rural networks, prioritizing investment in more profitable urban areas. Brightspeed essentially bought a massive fixer-upper. They're not just flipping a switch. They're rebuilding the house from the foundation up, all while people are still living in it. This process is messy. Technicians need to be retrained on new systems. Old copper lines that have been deteriorating for decades finally give out. Billing systems have to merge millions of accounts, and errors are almost inevitable. For the CEO, the challenge is twofold. First, there's the monumental operational task of actually executing the fiber build-out and improving customer service. Second, there's the public relations battle. They have to manage customer expectations and communicate that change takes time. This is where many large companies stumble. A corporate press release about multi-billion-dollar investments doesn't mean much to someone whose internet just went out during an important Zoom meeting. The communication has to be clear, empathetic, and consistent. So, to sum it up, while the high legal bar for proving criminal fraud may not have been met, the reality for many customers is a different story. The issues customers are experiencing, while incredibly frustrating, fall into the categories of poor service, logistical challenges during a massive transition, and the growing pains of a new company trying to overhaul a neglected network. The company is making huge, verifiable investments in new infrastructure, which is the opposite of what you'd expect in a fraud scheme. The anger and accusations of fraud are powerful expressions of customer dissatisfaction. For those being billed for a service that hasn't improved and who feel lied to, it's a classic case of a company overpromising and under-delivering on a massive scale. The road ahead for Brightspeed is long, and they'll have to win back customer trust one connection, one service call, and one fiber line at a time. Thank you so much for watching. If you've had an experience with Brightspeed, good or bad, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. And if you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the topics that matter. See you next time.